And welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We are diving back again into Enshrouded. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the best ways to farm metal scraps. If you guys don't know, they are going to be very useful when it comes to pretty much almost every single recipe, especially early game, and it does take a little bit of time to actually farm them. So if we go through here, you can see that things like the grappling hook, which again is very important in the game, takes 4 metal scraps to craft 1. Same thing goes for a lot of the other tools. If you head over to the blacksmith, we can see and look at all of the stuff that they have available that also takes a handful of metal scraps. We have nails here that take metal scraps, your first scrappy axe, your first scrappy pickaxe takes metal scraps, and additionally, you guys are going to need some metal scraps here as well for the forge. You need metal scraps and charcoal to make what they call metal sheets. And that, again, is going to be at the blacksmith in order for you guys to craft your first set of armor so you guys can take a lot more hits throughout the game. So again, really important material. Let's dive into the first way that you guys can find these metal scraps. Alrighty, so diving into the first place, and probably the best place that you guys will farm metal scraps, and that brings us into these, scrapper camps. In the first area, or the first zone, I guess I would say, in Enshrouded, you'll discover these little encampments as you are adventuring. When you go into these encampments, you can kill the enemies here at these places, no matter which one you're killing. A lot of times they will drop, 1 to 3 metal scraps on their bodies. So make sure you loot everybody. The second way you can get some scrap metals via these little encampments is related to destroying all of the stuff that's here. If you see a random, barrel, a little crate, you see some, metal braziers, you name it, if you just use your pickaxe and your axe between the two tools to destroy all the different items at these encampments, you can pick up a lot of extra metal scraps. Again, I've just tried making this a habit every time I adventure through and find one of these encampments, kill everybody, and then just try to discover and destroy everything you can so you can have all those extra metal scraps to bring back to your base. And not only does this go for the encampments, this literally goes for anywhere you adventure out in the world. If you discover a random abandoned house, if you discover an abandoned, village or an abandoned castle, you name it, you'll actually be able to destroy a lot of the furniture. It could be tables, it could be bookshelves. Sometimes I've even found some metal scraps sitting on bookshelves that you can just loot without destroying them. But either way, just literally anything that you can see, most of the time you can destroy, and in doing so will give you some sort of resource. So again, if you're trying to hunt down some extra metal scraps and maybe you've cleared everything that you possibly can, you can go around and destroy furniture and stuff to also farm some. And now diving into another way that you can also farm some metal scraps here that we have discovered via my playthrough session, that brings us into these ancient vaults. These ancient vaults you can see located on your map as you discover the individual NPCs. I'll do another video in the future talking about these NPCs more in depth, but as you discover those NPCs and those vaults, you will have them marked on your map. You can actually adventure back to those, and once you go to these ancient vaults, you will see there are these metal pods. The metal pods themselves, you can actually use a pickaxe to destroy. They take a little bit, they have a lot of durability, but once you break them down, a lot of times they will drop some extra metal scraps that you can then pick up and then once again utilize to craft more materials. And so now you guys know the best ways to farm the metal scraps. As I was talking about at the beginning of the video, you're going to need all of these metal scraps that you possibly can find for pretty much every single recipe and even the next tier. Because if you go to somebody like the blacksmith, you're going to need it right off the bat to make your first one-handed weapons, which obviously you're going to need to complete one of the quest lines for the blacksmith. But either way, you're still going to need it to craft your first set of the Rising Fighter armor sets, because this will increase your defense, defense significantly, allowing you to take more hits and survive longer in the Shroud, especially going up against some of the mini bosses. And then just in general, all of your next tier items, your weapons, your tools like your pickaxes, nails even, that you use for other crafting recipes. And then last but not least, as I mentioned, that forge is very important to make more metal sheets. You're going to want to make sure you have these forge constantly going, and to do so, you're going to need a lot of metal scraps. And that, my friends, officially wraps up how you guys can farm out metal scraps inside of Enshrouded. As I mentioned here several times, guys, these metal scraps are very important. It's honestly one of the most important resource early game when it comes to crafting your first set of armor and your first set of weapons and tools that you're going to want before diving into the Shroud. With that being said, though, guys, as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here on the channel for everything Enshrouded and beyond. I say beyond because I am a survival survival content creator. I don't just make content on Enshrouded, I am making content full-time on Ark Survival Ascended, and I do plan on diving into other games like Conan Exiles at some point, and even Pow World. So if you guys are interested in staying up to date on all that stuff, hit the notification bell so you can not miss out on any videos, and also don't forget, if you're looking to join a cool Discord community, I do have one that is almost compiled of 7,000 members for a variety of different games. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, you can do so by utilizing the link down below in the description. But with that being said, guys, until next time, I will see you all on the next one.